Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all here. Thank you for coming. Who is the first time here? Yes, the first time? You as well? Okay. And who is the first time about like listening about Buddhism or meditation? Or no? Everybody already knew a bit? Okay, good. So there's not much I can say because I don't know much as well. So we're gonna do a little talk. We go and say it's we're gonna share together a little bit today. Yes? And then once we decided to be here together, we decided to come out of our houses, the comfortable sofa. So we came here. That means that we have an intention for being here. Maybe we are not even aware of it, but we definitely created an intention or a motivation for being here. It was always in the Buddhist tradition, we always have this understanding that whatever intention that we create, and comes certain result. So if a positive intention creates a positive result, and a not so positive intention creates a non so positive result. A bit of what we call cause and effect. So for that, we need to, before we begin, set up our motivation, okay, for being here, our intention for being here, why we came here, what are we doing here? Because Florida, it's a very special place, and we could have been doing so many things. Could be at the beach, swimming pool, you going to so many nice places, but we decided to be here. And that is very special. So we should just take a moment to acknowledge that and to set our intention for being here. We're going to be here together for the next 1.5 hours. So it's important that we prepare our body and mind. Okay? So you can just take a moment. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. If you just want to sit comfortably, you just sit comfortably. The most important is that you start to relax your body and that you start slowly bring your attention inwards into your inner world. And you do a small checking in with yourself and check, how are you doing now? What is happening within you? What emotions, feelings, sensations? And from that investigation of how we are feeling, we might start noticing that whatever it is that is happening in our mind, that is happening in our heart, is because we are trying to find some sort of happiness and not to suffer or be discomfortable. So we can start to realize that maybe the motivation for us to be here today is because one way or another, there is something in our mind and in our lives be more calm, peaceful. That we want to be more happy and maybe light and relaxed. Maybe we want to know how to deal with our emotions, understand our desires, wishes, our frustrations. And all of that is incredible. But if we expand a little bit this awareness, we start to understand that all of these people here in this room and the people online are wanting the same thing as us. They also want to be happy, calm, relaxed. So if we expand and we think about our family members, our friends, people we know, they are also wanting that in their own ways. They are also wanting that as a basis. So thinking about them as well, we generate an intention that whatever we hear, whatever we contemplate or discuss, talk, whatever we meditate on, may we use to help not only ourselves, but all of these beings, all of these people, to be a little bit kinder, calmer, happier. And that we may be able to not only plant seeds in our minds on how to develop these more positive states, but to create an intention to use these in our daily lives. So whatever we do, whoever we encounter, may we be able to also help them to have a better day, be happier. We dedicate in this way. We dedicate, we motivate ourselves in this way. We set this intention in this way. And in order to help us keep this intention, we're going to do some aspirational prayers, prayers that help us to keep these inside of ourselves. So we start with what we call the four immeasurables, so the four qualities that we already have within ourselves: the quality of equanimity, quality of love, the quality of compassion, and the quality of joy. But that right now these qualities are very limited, are very restricted to only me, myself. So here we're going to try to open our hearts and think about all sentient beings, all sentient beings. at wanting and deserve to be happy. So we start on page 35 of the book. Otherwise, it's on the screen as well. Our incredible Nana has already put it over there. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. Then we go to page 34. A little bit. Nana? Okay. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be separable from the happiness that is free from suffering. And now we go to page. So now we're going to take refuge. So refuge, as I was explaining before, is something that we take as a help to guide us, to help us evolve and develop our minds and our hearts. And it's kind of like an exercise of humility as well, because we realize that we don't have the control of our emotions and our minds as we think we have. So we need help, we need inspiration, we need someone that can help us to do that. That's why we take refuge. And we generate what we call bodhicitta, the supreme intention that says, okay, I want to achieve that state of no more suffering and with all my good qualities so I can help others to achieve the same. Isn't that amazing? We could all achieve that. No more suffering and have all the qualities that we already have: love, compassion, kindness, generosity, in an unconditional, unlimited way. The world will be different. No more wars, no more need for, problems of financial problems, no more disputes, nothing. Because if everybody it's enough and everybody wants to think about others more than just thinking about me, you think the world is going to be like that? The world will be different, totally different. So that's what we are trying here. We're trying to see the possibility of cultivating this mind state inside of ourselves. That's where we need to start, within ourselves, with ourselves. Otherwise, it's very easy to say, oh yeah, you do your job there, but I can still be angry at you when I want. I can still, want whatever I want from you. We need to practice what we preach first. We need to start with us. No? Gandhi used to say, be the change you want to see in the world. It's very hard because normally we want everything outside to change. But ourselves, no. I'm perfect. I don't have any problems. Yeah, I know sometimes I do this and that, but I don't need to change. The world around me needs to change. Here, we're going inside. So we are taking refuge inside. We're not taking refuge outside. We're not taking refuge in just the beautiful golden Buddha who is there sitting. No, he's showing to us that if we, this hand is touching the earth and say, I conquered my own delusions. I conquered my own afflictions. And I have this hand here saying, this brings me peace. And out of this peace, I can share with everybody. So everybody can achieve the same thing. So that's what it is. It's not like, the savior, our savior. No, our savior isn't here. We need to save ourselves because we are the ones creating the problem in the first place. So that's what we are taking refuge. We are taking refuge on that. We take refuge, in our own potential. Okay? So I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Yay, very good. So we are these talks on Sunday. I had no idea what I was going to talk about, and then I said, "Oh my God, what I'm going to talk about? I don't know anything. How I'm going to be here? All of these people." And then we decided to use a book called Freedom Through Understanding. It's a book from Lama Yeshe, and Lama Zopa Rinpoche as well. So this is Lama Yeshe, and that one is Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So they founded this place, you know, and they were in the 70s. They started traveling. They came out of Nepal and India, and they started to travel to teach Buddhism, the Buddhist philosophy, meditation in many, many places. So this book is a series of talks that they gave in the 70s. So that's what we're going to talk about. Because this book, even though the teachings were done in the 70s, it's still absolutely accurate and relevant to this time and age. I think even more, maybe. So it's something that I really like to share. So I think we have the book.
I'm giving everyone today at the end of the teaching a copy of the book.
Wow, very good. Yeah. So we after we finish, so we can get the book and you guys can read it and you guys gonna enjoy much more than my blah blah blah. But as I'm here,
Anyone on Zoom that would like a copy of the book, if you're local, you can pick it up at the center. If you're not local, if you email us your address, we'll send you a copy.
yes, also if you are like, online, like far away, but you can download it online on Lama Yeshe Wisdom Archive as well, if you like, to have it on your iPad or something like this. So it's also nice. It's a very nice book because they were talking about different things, but the most important thing that we're going to discuss, and this is going to be always in the Buddhist path, it's the mind, because we use the mind for everything. And when we talk about the mind, we're not talking about just the conceptual mind, our thoughts and all of these. When we talk about mind, we are talking about all of our experiences. We are talking about emotions, feelings, sensations, everything. In Buddhism, it's very fun because when we were doing the prostrations, right, we were doing like this, and then you put it here, and then you represent your body, your speech, and your mind. The mind is here in Buddhism, at the heart. The translation of Tibetan, the word that they use, well, they use many words, but one of the main words that they use, it would be heart mind. So that's already says a lot. Because sometimes we say, oh yeah, we need to think with our mind and we need to let harmonize the heart and the mind. Yeah, well, actually, there's only one thing. But we sometimes allow parts of our minds to take control. And those parts that we need to understand. Because if we start to understand what is going on in our minds, what is that is happening, and how our minds work, then we can start changing our life. We can start changing our reality. Because if we're going to really put into practice and analyze ourselves and our lives, let's face it, our minds are like a yo-yo, you know, up and down. Yo-yo, yeah, you have this, yes. Some people make a face, and I was like, oh, maybe they don't have yo-yo. Yes. Like a roller coaster. That's what it is. Our minds are up and down, 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 up and down. It's just so tiring. We have no control. We have no understanding of our minds. And because we don't see it, we don't check it, we don't sit down with it. We are so busy in our daily lives, and we are just all the time distracting ourselves. I was thinking about that, the other day I went also to buy something in the supermarket, and I saw, wow, actually, we can find so many ways to distract ourselves, to not be with whatever it is that we are feeling. We became so avert to discomfort. If you think about it, in the past situations, the outside conditions were harder, you know, when the teachers, they talk about when they, because when China invaded Tibet, and then the Tibetans like ran from, like they flew from Tibet, they went to India, and then they had to go into very hard conditions. And then they went to the south of India, where they gave some land, and they had to restart the monasteries. Monasteries, now that we have like 5,000 monks. But in the beginning, they didn't have anything. So they were talking, these old teachers, they talk about, now they are 80s, 90s, like the Dalai Lama's age. And they talk about how the situation was so hard. They didn't have food, or they had to do this and that. But the mind was so happy because they could do what they were free to actually be able to build again, to do things. Nowadays, it's the opposite. We have so many options outside. We have so many possibilities, but the mind, I don't know if we are happier. I don't know. I really look. If you look, people with money, because everybody thinks like, oh, yes, but then it's just because I don't have enough money. So I need to have more money. I need to have more things. I need to have more belongings, more outside, kind of like wealth. And then, are we happier? Are we actually happier? Are we fulfilled? I was discussing with a friend the other day, because there is, I didn't know that there is like Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime means that it comes in one day or something like that, next day. And I was a bit like, oh, wow. And then, Jackie came to me very kind. She said, I have Amazon Prime. If you want to order something, you can order with me, because I ordered something, but yes. And then said, no, but I don't need it tomorrow. I can wait. And she was like, no, but you can get tomorrow. And I was a bit like, I understand, but I don't need. But then I started to understand why they have that. Of course, because you get that satisfaction when it arrives, right? You all get that, like, oh, yes, it's new. And then you go and then you open the package, and then, in 3 minutes, it's gone. No, it's gone, totally gone. So what do you need to do again? Order something new, so you can feel that rush, that kind of like, feeling again. A friend of mine, I think he's online, Lucas, he also used to say, I used to get so happy to get home and then just look at the door to see if there was, a package or something. That's it. We are just being addicted to these small little pleasures, small little instant satisfaction, and we call this happiness. That is one of the problems. We don't actually understand what happiness can be. In Buddhism, we're going to say that happiness is a mind state. It's actually, I'm going to say something here that many people would debate with me. So, but it's when we achieve everlasting happiness, it means it doesn't go away. It's a permanent thing. It stays. You never feel that rush of, wanting to get a new Amazon Prime thing. You get that absolutely constant peace and satisfaction. Can you imagine this? Living like that, where you just go to buy things because you know that you need. You need food, you need this, you need that, but you don't actually craving for that. You don't expect that those things are going to bring the happiness and the high that we are looking for. So that is why in Buddhism we say that the mind is the creator of our own happiness, but also is the creator of our own suffering. Then it starts to become the difficult part, because the difficult part is acknowledging when we are the ones as well responsible for our own suffering. What is the tendency? We are driving comfortably or we are relaxed and someone does something to us, like they cut in front of us or something like this, and we get angry. What we do? We instantly blame the person. So automatically, right? You understand what I mean? Yes. Immediately we say, oh no, it's because this person cut in front of me, is not because of me. Is it? Because if you're in a good mindset, maybe you're gonna say, well, maybe this person is like cutting because they are late for something, maybe they have something like going on with themselves, or maybe they are so stressed and they cannot really relax and they need to do that. No, we don't think about that. We just think them are bad, they are doing this to me, and then they are making me angry. Look how crazy we are. Totally crazy. We are creating our own suffering. And then the best is, then we stay in the car like a loop, like a loop in the CD. When the CD goes again and again and again and again, and then we just like, because this person, because this, because that, and then we just start suffering. And we are suffering. The person doesn't even know. He's just there living his life, relaxed, doing his own thing, and we are just here with that bad feeling in the mouth. You understand? Yeah? You recognize what I'm talking about? Yes? So then it's another question that we need to ask ourselves. Are we creating our own suffering or not? That's what we need to start looking. Because that is hard. That part is hard. Because then we're going to need to say, oh, I am the responsible. Now I need to grow up and I need to take responsibility of my actions and understand that if I am suffering because of this or that, it's coming from me. It's so much easier to be outside all the time, you know? So much easier to blame others, so much easier to blame the government, to blame, the everything else, isn't it? I don't know. I know that I sometimes, you know, tend to do this. Oh no, but yeah, this person did that, they are not a good Dharma practitioners, or they don't do this, or this is not good, you know. And we don't see that it's our mind projecting all of these, our mind creating this reality, our mind creating how things should be according to my perception and my opinion. Yeah, are we communicating here? Yes. Good, good. Because that's how if we start to understand and check within ourselves, that's what we're doing all the time. That's what we're doing all the time. Creating ideas about how things should be, perceptions of our minds, believing in them and acting upon them, right? So we start to say, this is the correct way, this is the wrong way, based only on what is good to me and to my idea of happiness. And then I just chase that, like a blind person, like a completely maniac, crazy, totally crazy. So that is what is very important here that we're going to talk. That's what Rinpoche is talking about all the time, and Lama Yeshe are talking all the time. If we don't understand our minds, then we don't have control. And then if we don't understand our minds, we cannot change. Because it is possible to change. Because as we said, if we are in this roller coaster, there's one thing that this roller coaster can teach us. We wake up in a certain way, and then we go throughout our day, and then we go up and down, and then we finish in a certain way, right? That is normally different than the way we wake up. It's very, very hard that we have the same experience. That shows us one thing that is very important. These emotions, these experiences, they are not one with our mind. That means that they are all the time changing. That they are, as a way to describe, just like the clouds, passing. Understand? They are passing. They are not staying with us. They are not concrete things that we are kind of like so attached as we think. We are, because we are making them like this. Because we are choosing one thing or the other that we are clinging to and holding on as precious, and not allowing it is like allowing it to just come by. Just go. Arise, go. If we think about it, I think that there was a study and we have like more than 2 or 3,000 thoughts a day or more. I can't remember, five, something like a crazy number, 5,000 thoughts a day. But let's face it, if you think about it now, if you stop for a moment, you're going to be having the same thoughts that you have been having almost the entire week. Some of them we decide to make them important, to make them concrete. You know, some of them we decided to believe that they were special and important and real. They are just thoughts. They have not this substantial existence as we think. What makes them substantially existing, it's our believing in them and reacting to them. But we don't have control of our thoughts right now. At least I don't. You know, there's one type of meditation that we talk about called concentration meditation, focusing meditation, calm abiding meditation. Same name for the same thing, which most of you might have heard about, which is concentrating on the breath, right? Just bringing the attention to the breath. Why do we need to do that? Why do we need to concentrate our minds on the breath? If we think that we can do what we think we can, which is like having control of our thoughts, of our mind, we would say, okay, I just concentrate on the breath and I stay there. Right. And tell me to see if that's how it happens. If you can stay 3 seconds concentrating on your breath, is already wow. Our minds are totally crazy, go everywhere all the time, jumping like you know that game pinball? Yeah, it's like that little ball. That's how our minds are. Totally crazy, going here and there, and then we hear something that we like, and we're like, oh yeah, and then we see something, oh very nice, and then oh yeah, oh I'm hungry, oh I'm there. So, exhausting, isn't it? Right? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We're totally exhausted of just being completely overruled, completely enslaved by this mind that is just wanting instant pleasure. That's why Instagram is so famous. You know, Insta food, Insta date, Insta everything. We have everything nowadays. And then why? Because the same thing as the Amazon Prime. I think Amazon should give me money because I'm talking about Amazon Prime. Which I just discovered a few weeks ago. So you know, it's just like that rush, that, and then we think that this is happiness. We think that this is what we need, and then we just want more and more, and more and more and more and more. But because they are temporary, because they start and they finish, they can never give what we are looking for, which is this more stable, permanent, never changing type of happiness. That's what we are looking for. Nobody wants to be on this yo-yo mind. You want peace of mind, right? You want to relax and kind of like enjoy. And if it's raining, it's raining. If it's not raining, it's not raining, and life is okay. If we have a disease, if we are ill or not, it's okay. If someone breaks our heart or not, it's okay. Of course, it's going to be painful. The pain is not the problem because we are trying to avoid the pain that it is the problem. We don't have control of these external factors as we think we have because we have a wrong view of how things work. You know, you don't have control if it's going to rain. You don't have control if your boss is going to fire you. You don't have control if your like loved one is going to dump you. What you can do is because you understand cause and effect is that if you are a good employer, a good employee, a good worker, he might have less probability to fire you, right? If you are nice to your loved person, your loved one, it might be harder for them to actually decide to dump you. But this is just cause and effect. There's nothing like, secure as we are trying to hold on to. Because things change. Things are in the nature of things, in the nature of impermanence. That's what we say. That means that things are changing all the time. But we don't accept. We are very proud of thinking that no, 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 no. No, I know. Yeah, I understand all of that, Carlden. Yeah, I understand, but I can make things not work like that. We do that with even with the most vital thing and the thing that we know is gonna happen for sure, which is you're gonna die. Do you know anyone here who is like is that there's a story of the Buddha that there was this mother, so Buddha 2,600 years ago, and this mother had a baby and the baby died. And she came to the Buddha and said, Buddha, please help me make my baby come back to life. And then he said, okay, you go around and you try to look for a mustard seed in any house that haven't met with death, that don't know death. So she went. And every time she would knock on the door, someone would say, oh no, my grandma passed away. So, oh no, my father passed away. Oh no, my son passed away. Oh no, my mother passed away. And then she came to the Buddha and understood that death is part of life. It's gonna happen. Either we try to deny it, either we try to run away from it. We try to make as much plastic surgery we want. It is still gonna happen. Right? It doesn't matter. But let's face it, let's be honest here. I like direct and honest conversation. Do we live like this? Do we believe? Do we actually can say, I know I'm gonna die? Yes. Will you? Because if you really believe that and would understand that you're gonna die, when someone cuts in front of you in the on the road, would you waste your time being angry? Would you waste your time cultivating that anger? Understand? Would you? There are beautiful studies. And actually in the FPMT, which is the organization which is the center is from, we have 160 centers and projects around the world. And one of the projects that we have is called a hospice. And they talk about what it is to be around people that are about to die. And the most important point that they always say that they hear is that people regret having waste their time with insignificant things, small things. With me. You understand? So if we really would believe that we would die, that this is part of life, even though conceptually we might understand, if we would really, I'm sure we would not have those regrets. We would live differently. Do you agree with me? Do you understand? Yes? Are we communicating? Yes. Because I know my English is a bit bad, so I hope you guys can understand. So that is very important, because otherwise we are living completely, I would say, we are living in denial. We are living in denial, and therefore we cannot find happiness. Because happiness, it is understanding reality, understand how things are, and living more in accordance with this reality. So if it is real, and this we can establish without investigating too much, that all of these people here in this room at some point in the next 100 years is going to be dead, right? This is real. Let's face it. Yeah, it can be tomorrow, right? It can be anytime. But that we're going to die, we know, right? So if we can see that, if we can really understand that, if we would understand, we would live our lives differently. So therefore, we would be able to suffer less because of things that we don't accept now. We would give more time to your family members, your loved ones. You would be able to use, right, your body, speech, mind, whatever you have, your energy in a more meaningful way, right? Understand? So that means that if we would understand that this is the reality, we would be happier. We would live according to a way that would bring us happiness. Yeah, makes sense? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, that is very important. Very important that we understand that, because otherwise we keep creating more and more and more and more causes for our own suffering. The more we don't understand reality, the more we don't see things as they are, the more we don't understand our mind, the more we suffer. The more we create kind of like, excuses to actually don't look inside of ourselves, not going inside and thinking about it. And if we start to understand even more, and that is so important, what really brings us these not only small little pleasures, but a more long-term type of happiness, we start to understand that it normally also depends a lot on the kindness of others. Because that is another strong and big way that we fool ourselves. And I have to say, developed countries like America, Europe, Brazil is becoming each day worse, which is the sense of independency. I am independent. I work, I do my life, as long as me, I am okay. I have my car, I have my everything, my avocado. yesterday, the Saturday, Saturday, no, Friday, I came to do some prayers here, and then I brought some offerings. Normally we do some offerings. There's some I also the cookies here for you guys to eat. Very good cookies. And then I bought some avocado because I like avocado. I said, oh yes, I'm gonna buy some avocado because then I can take it. Da, da, da. And then I realized that I was thinking like that. So when I was going back to where I'm staying, the guy who was in the at the entrance, no, he asked me, "Oh yeah, where are you going?" Da, 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 da. Then I remember, I was like, "Oh, avocado." I was grasping to the avocado, so I took avocado and I gave to him to help my mind, to train my mind. All of these to say that's what we are doing. We don't understand that our happiness is interdependence. Is dependent on others. So that guy was very happy. He was so surprised, so happy. It's like, really? And I said, yeah, avocado for you. right? So he was so happy. So that's what it is. We be so happy. I got so happy because someone gave me mango. I also like mango. We get so happy. So look at how it is. If we think about others, if we practice generosity towards others, the other person becomes happy and we become happy. It's what in America we say win-win situation. But do we practice this? It's a no-brainer, but do we practice this? I don't know, but as you could see, I had to think about it. I had to think about to share my avocado. So that's what we need to start to looking. So we look inside our minds and we look to our daily lives and we check. What am I holding on that is just about me, that I could be actually maybe sharing a little bit more? And not only sharing material things, because that is easier in a place like America where we have so much abundance, as I say. You go to the supermarket and you're like, "Ah, wow, so many choices, no? It is more also abundance of maybe time, giving your time to others, giving, just a ear for someone to talk and to be listened to. Or maybe you can, maybe also share your kindness in different ways. So the interdependency of that way we start to understand is that, wow, wait a minute, everything that I get that makes me comfortable, that makes me happy, that makes me feel nice is due to the kindness of others. You know, I always say for us to be here in this place, so many people were involved. Not only the people who are now, the people who were before, the people who were even before that. So many people. And then, of course, our teachers who came, taught. So we start to understand that maybe our way of behaving and our treating others might change a bit. Make sense? Yeah, do you understand that? Do you understand that cause and effect? That relationship? Because we deal with people all the time, right? There's no escaping. Even if you go to the top of the mountain, not nowadays, doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter. Nowadays is almost impossible. I was now in Nepal in these high mountains, like maybe 13, 14,000 feet, And you think, oh, and then there's a helicopter, and then there's a tourist that comes up, and then there is a cow, and then there's a dog, and then there's, always things going on. This idea, and we think that, oh no, if I go to the top of the mountain, if I give by myself, I'm gonna be happy. You just forgot one thing. You brought your mind with you. Lama Zopa Rinpoche has a very funny story. There is a center that we have. It's in Tahiti, Tahiti, yes, which is like this amazing place, in French Polynesia, with like it's an island in the Pacific, so beautiful place. So there were some people that make this connection with Rinpoche, open a center, a Buddhist center there, and invited Rinpoche to come and give teachings. And Rinpoche accepted because Rinpoche was very kind. He used to travel like 10, 11 months a year going around. And then he goes, and then people ask Rinpoche and say, Rinpoche, how was your experience? How was like over there in Tahiti? People like thinking that Rinpoche is gonna say, oh yeah, it was beautiful. Rinpoche was like, very bad. And everybody was like, what? Why, Rinpoche? What happened? So much suffering. And we were like, what? Rinpoche, everybody's living the good life there. They are having this amazing place. It's super beautiful, all of these. And said, so much suffering. People come with so many expectations, They come, it's like, oh, it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna go to this beautiful place and we're gonna stay in this hotel and we're gonna do this and that and it's gonna be sunny every day. Da, da, da. They come with all of these expectations. They arrive over there. One tiny little thing is different. Because maybe their room, instead of being directly facing the ocean, is a bit like, on the side. Or maybe there is a cloud that passes by, or maybe the food is a little bit spicier than they thought. Everything becomes bad, contaminates everything. And people make so much money, so many things. Right? Do you understand? So Rinpoche said so much suffering. Because it's true. People are suffering so much because of a tiny little thing. Do you recognize that? Are we communicating? That is how our minds are working. That is it. If you really be honest, I always feel that for me, when I was leaving the bank and, I used to work in a bank and be all of that. And I think that one of the main things that had to happen to me was to say, I need to be honest with myself. And honesty is something that opens the heart and opens the path for us to look for solutions. I'm not saying that you need the Buddhist path is the only one, only solution. No, not like that. But a path or something that helps you to improve yourself. The Dalai Lama, when he's asked, like, which is the best religion in the world? And he says, that one that makes you a better human being. That's it. Isn't that obvious? But maybe we are just thinking, no, my religion. Because we can use religion for so many things. Not that good. Right? Or maybe we think that, oh yes, I'm gonna shave my hair, put these funny clothes, and then I'm gonna be better, enlightened. Lama Yeshe used to say, if people think that putting robes and things like that, their attachment is gonna decrease, their aversion, their anger is gonna decrease, quite the opposite. Increases more, because we are contracting the mind that can be doing whatever he wants. So the anger comes even more like, I cannot have my ice cream, whenever I want. Very good. So then we need to choose the path and what is the methods that work to decrease those negative mindsets, those minds of attachment, those minds of anger, that minds of pride, those minds of, how do you say that, miserliness? Very good, this word. That we think, oh, no. We need a path for that. We need to understand that there is ways. But then first we need to recognize those negative mindsets. Those mindsets, as I say, that effortlessly, that without any need for us to make a conscious decision, they just arise. Someone says something to you, you are bad, you are ugly, you are fat, you are this. No? You understand what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah, you did this job, but it's not very good. Not very nice. Wow. Or imagine someone comes in here and says, "Oh yes, I need to talk to you because we have a camera and we saw you stealing something." Even though you didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Me, right? Very good. Because we get so caught up in those minds that is always about how we look, how we should be, how we shouldn't be, right? Those ideas of ourselves that we create, and then when we said like last time, perfection. But if we're going to define perfection here, all of us is going to be different. If we're going to say, what is perfection for you? Oh, perfection is when I have this, that, that, and all of these are going to be different, totally different. For me, perfection is when you have lots of avocados, but maybe for you, it's like, I don't like avocado. This guy is crazy, totally crazy. So then we need to start investigating our minds. What is that we are clinging to? What is this images and self-images, ideals, more than ideas, ideals of ourselves that we are creating. Because these ideals, they are totally based in a completely hallucinated way of thinking. Because we can't be like that. We can't be as perfect as we think we are. Why? Because it doesn't depend on us to achieve that goal. It depends on others. And others that we don't have control of. Ta-da! We don't have control. We don't have control of other people thinking and like ways of behaving. Even your children, by the way, or your parents, by the way, you don't. Or your relationship, we don't. But we don't understand that. So we create these ideas, of course, influenced by where we came from, where we come, all of these things that, yes, we say that is in that. In Buddhism, we're going to say that actually came from the habitual patterns. Because every time we create something, we do something, it plants a seed in our mind. And the more we continue making that, it creates easier a habitual pattern, right? So that's what we call karma in Buddhism. So the more we have negative mind states, the more we respond or react to things. Respond is different. React to things with negative mindsets. We are creating seeds, and not only seeds, but we are creating literally in our brains slides. I always had that image in my mind, but like pathways, neural pathways that is making that aspect of ourselves to repeat again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So then we need to be very careful with what we are believing and what we are thinking and what we are actually acting upon on our minds. This is just creating those mindsets. So then we need to look, we need to investigate, we need to check. What is those negative mindsets? Why those negative mindsets are cheating on us? It's very good. Cheating. Rinpoche used to say, totally cheating. Why? Because the mind of anger says, oh yes, but if I just give that back to them, then I'm gonna be feeling good. And you go, you punch someone in the face, you feel good. No, then you become scared because this person might come and punch you in the face as well. So you're always like, you know, you say something to hurt someone. Oh yeah, now I got my revenge and all of that. And then, then you're always thinking, oh no, but maybe this person is gonna. That's how it is. We get these creates anxiety in our mind. Our minds are disturbed. That's why we call them the other words of calling negative mind states or afflictions. We call disturbing emotions because they are disturbing the peace of mind that we already have within ourselves. Lama Yeshe used to use a phrase that says, we need to make our mind an ocean. What he was talking about? Well, because right now we are totally involved and attached and identified with these disturbance, these waves of our mind, the clouds. And we forget that within ourselves, under the surface of these negative emotions, there is a place, there is a state in our minds that is pure, clear like the sky, and vast as the ocean. And all of this is inside of ourselves, right here and right now. And we can connect and we can act from this place. So then instead of creating negativities and allowing these, small little waves to control our minds, if we connect with this purity, this clarity, then we start to respond and we start to actually be the owner of our own mind. We start to actually have the control to discern what is good, what is bad, what is wrong, what is not, what it helps us and what it doesn't. Does it make sense? Yes? And then we can start to understand something that is so important, which is the same way that we are reacting and following these negative mindsets, every single other person is doing the same. And then they are suffering because of that. If we understand that, if we really understand that these sufferings are coming from these wrong views, as we said, for not understanding that things are changing all the times, for not understanding that we don't have control, for not understanding their own minds, the only thing that can arise in us is compassion. How I can be mad with someone that is completely controlled by their negative emotions and have no idea about that? How can I be mad at this person? It's like being mad. They say, if someone, like, hits you with the stick, then you get mad with the person. Not the person, it's the stick that made you pay. It's the same. When someone comes and kind of like gives or does something that hurts you, this person not doing that because they want. They have no control and no awareness of their mind. They are totally being controlled and overpowered by their negative emotions, by anger, attachment, pride. And then that's what we need to get angry at. These mindsets. We need to get, oh, I do that and I'm like this. Exactly the same. But we always put ourselves superior. I would never. But we do in different ways with other people. So we just follow these mindsets and create a lot of suffering for ourselves. And then we create for others. So if we start to understand these two aspects, that these beings are just like us, in wanting to be happy and not wanting to suffer, but that they are totally deluded and controlled by their negative emotions, how us, that now we are starting a path and we are starting to work on our minds, wanting to improve, wanting to get better, how can we act with negative mindsets? Of course, our tendencies are very strong, and sometimes we're going to use it. But we can use these situations to open our hearts, to develop the prayers that we did, equanimity, understanding that we're all the same, totally different countries, different backgrounds, different this. Yes, but these are nothing. Deep down, what makes us equal as human beings is the wish to be happy and not suffer. And then is the controlled mind of the negativities, us being totally controlled by these negativities. So then that's why it's a bit difficult to start a path like this. Because once you start to work on your mind and we start to understand how things work, you start to be responsible. And you start to actually have more responsibility, that if you are the one having these insights and this understanding, you cannot do that to others, right? Because they don't know. It's like you getting mad if I come here now and I say, okay, you start speaking Portuguese now. You never learn Portuguese. And I start to get mad at you because you're not speaking Portuguese. You never learned. You never was taught. You never, that's how we are. No, but this person should know best. How? We never create the conditions and the causes, but we did. Right? You understand what I'm saying? Come on, let's have some questions. I'm getting tired of blah, blah, blah here. Any questions? Online people as well? No, nobody? That's very easy. Come on.
Well, it's not a question, it's just a reflection of
Reflection.
your
Very good.
work.
I like reflection.
Problems are not problems, but the way you react to that situation is that what creates the problem.
Yes. So he's saying problems are not problems. It's the way we react to the situation that creates problems. Do you agree or disagree? Let's create a debate here.
I agree, or I feel like I know that, but every time I come here, it always relates to something that's happened. I'm just gonna speak on. Recently, or a few weeks ago, I had gotten fired from my job from something that didn't was made up.
Yeah.
I was really mad,
Very good.
obviously, because I felt like I did nothing, and I was getting texts and calls and like 8 different reasons of why I got fired. People were telling me why did I quit. This is a lot of drama. So I wanted to react the way my younger self would have reacted, which is to go back and fight.
Yes.
But I didn't, and I felt like I didn't react, and I still got all of these problems. That's why I don't know if that's, exactly.
Yes.
My younger self would have defended
Yes.
myself.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I
Yes.
felt
Yes.
like weak in that moment because I didn't.
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I felt defeated.
Because you didn't do it anything. Yeah, so she, for the online people, so she was just explaining that she got fired for something that she didn't do it. Then she got mad, of course, for that. And then she also had like many people calling her and saying the different reasons. But, she was mad, but she didn't do anything about it. And she felt a little bit disappointed, defeated, because she didn't do anything about it. Yes. I feel that normally that's how we think. And it is true. It's kind of like, especially when we didn't do anything about it, right? We might not understand the direct cause of why that happened. If I would go into an easy path, I would say karma. And I would say, you created that in past lives. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to kill this monk, But that is not, that doesn't make sense if we don't understand and apply to this life, right? That is very important because these teachings, they need to be useful for us now, because that's what is happening now, the mind that we have now. If we really start to understand that, also is like what you said, that for me is the most important part, is like that I felt defeated, no, because I didn't fight back. I feel that sometimes we think that fighting, reacting, is the way that we're going to get what we want. So that's what anger wants, right? The definition of anger is I'm not having what I want, or I'm having what I don't want, right? Like, for example, I have something that I don't want to have, a situation that is happening to me. I'm like, my car broke the tire, and I'm like, I get angry because I'm having that, right? So this is what anger is telling us. But it's totally out of reality, because normally we don't have the control and the power to get what we want. You understand? If we do, then of course we should act upon that. No? It's like there is these teachings of the Shantideva, this 7th century master. He's amazing. I really like the way that he used to write. And he used to say, a problem has a solution. Just find the solution. Do something about it, right? Getting worried and just complaining is not going to work. It's not going to make anything change. If a problem doesn't have a solution, then there's not much you can do. But complaining and being also is not going to work, right? So that is very important that we understand that if there is something that we can do about it, then we do it. However, there is two choices that we have here. We can do something about to resolve that situation with an angry mind. And then you tell me how is going to be the result. Because normally, again, intention is what plays here. And if the intention is anger, anger means it's about me and what I want. So it's forgetting another part of the situation, which is others. And because it's only thinking about me and forgetting others, it's a wrong view. It's a view that is not based in reality, right? Because reality means everybody's the same and wanting to be happy. So if you're forgetting the happiness of others, you're only thinking about you, is already not being based in reality. Therefore, the result is not going to be a positive one. You understand? But you can use your mind to check and to use and say, oh, wait a minute, I can maybe do something positive here. And then you respond from something, from a place of love, compassion, kindness, generosity, right? And then you check the difference. Why? Because those mindsets are mindsets based in reality, based on how things work. And how things work is that you and others, including your boss or whoever, want to be happy as well. So when you act thinking about the happiness of all of the involved people in that situation, the result is going to be positive, even if it means you not having what you wanted. But you don't know, maybe in the future, someone is going to come out of this job, get a new job and think, oh, I had that girl that was amazing. Let me call her and maybe bring her. Because you had a good. That's what we actually remember. People that have good heart. You understand? So that is what we need to start thinking. And then we use our own wisdom to decide which one we want. How we want to act. How we want to actually do. And then we can use with wisdom. And then we can use skillful means, as we say. Skillful means, oh, this and that I can actually do. For example, I don't know, I can send flowers to my boss with a little card and say, I'm so sorry for everything. Thank you. I like the face of like, you know, Lama Zopa Rinpoche have a very good have a very good story about these. These family, I think it was in Singapore or Malaysia. And Rinpoche used to go every year there. Then like they came and then they were like complaining about because the neighbors they had some type of like fight or something like this, and then they scratched the car of one another. It was like one of those situations that like was and then they come and then they ask Rinpoche, what should we do? Like and then Rinpoche says, what does he likes to do? Play golf or something like that. The neighbor, and then he said, okay, so you're gonna buy the most expensive golf whatever, ball or I don't know even how do you call that, clubs, you're gonna do that. And the guy was like, what? No way. Da, da, da. And then he said, okay, I'll try, and he did. And he did that and he sent a little note together of apologies. I'm so sorry. Totally changed. He became best friends, right? So they were wanting to maybe have to move, thinking about moving the apartment and all of that. Now, best friends. So that's what I'm saying. We don't know the results. The problem is that our minds here, and especially in this time and age, we're so attached to the end result. I just want my job back. I just want it there. I want justice. I want that, But we don't understand the causes and conditions that we need to create in order to get that result. And not only this, sometimes there is some other results that we have not thought about that are 10 times better. That is very interesting to see. Normally, especially also with like fears or things that we are like trying to avoid. We're like, no, this is going to be very bad if I do this. And then like, no. And then it happens and it was not that bad, you know? Or when you're going to get a shot, like a vaccine and everybody's just ready. Oh no, it's going to be so close. And then you're already done and the person's like, oh, already gone, I think you must be seeing that. I mean, as a nurse, it's just like, it was not that bad because the mind is creating this black scenario with Dharma. It's not like that at all. You understand? So then maybe like this. What do you think? Good? No good? The idea that I gave for you to give flowers to the boss.
I feel like, I feel like it was more of an ego thing for me because I was already planning on quitting for like a month. And I guess the universe just, for me, I feel like the universe
Yes.
just took that.
Yeah. It is.
That,
Yeah.
because I was already planning for so long. I also felt really mad that, I didn't get to do it and that somebody else did.
That's exactly this. That's exactly the point. Why does he suffering? Because she say, because I asked for the online people, I don't know if you hear, could you hear her?
Yeah, because
This work, it picks up everything.
Really? Wow, that's amazing. So we can put far from me as well, otherwise,
we
you know.
could put it,
But then that's the important thing, because then it's good to observe why you were creating in your mind that attachment to I should be the one to do that, right? That is very interesting to see. Because then we start to understand that we are so worried about how people will perceive us. So worried, you know? On Thursdays, Thursday evenings, we are doing a course that is called, based on a book called How to Practice Dharma. And it talks about the 8 types of attachments that we have that completely uh, over overpower us. And one of them is the craving for praise and the craze for a good reputation. Ooh, very good. Very good to check that. Why we are craving for that, you know? Why we are there thinking I am important, I need to be like this, or people should see me as strong, as a nice person, and that, you know? The good girl, good boy. Very good. Because then we start to become slave from these things, slave from these mindsets, slave from actually who we are. Yeah, we have flaws, we have problems, we have difficulties, but we are trying not to have that, not accept that. So then, very nice. Thank you for sharing. That was very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much. Yes.
I was just thinking, when Alex, what he said, and then the young woman's experience, how, I think when listening to Buddhist teachings or and trying to engage in Buddhist practice, it's important that we have to sort of separate our spiritual, our mind, and how we're reacting with our mind, and then how we're moving through conventional reality.
Why?
So, well, because just in talking with people over the years, that I think sometimes there can be sort of some confusion with saying when you're not getting angry about something, or you're just saying this is the way, this person is, they're suffering, but you also have to have the wisdom to conventionally take yourself out of a situation. So
Mhm.
if your mind isn't attached to it and you can work with, this person's suffering, but it doesn't mean that you have to be passive and be exploited or be in an abusive relationship and say, oh, well, I'm practicing Dharma, so he beats me up, but he's
fine.
good suffering,
Yeah.
so I should take it. And on the same way, like a work situation,
Yes.
where you want your mind to be okay
Yes.
and level with what's
Yes.
happening. But if it's sort of a corporate thing where there's lots of exploitation going on, it doesn't mean
Toxic culture,
that you
yes.
won't fight back,
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
but in a
absolutely.
way of trying to
But
prevent other people. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times
Totally agree.
people get
Totally agree.
confused about that.
But I would
that-
not use what you describe it, because I don't think that there is good in the way that you describe it. For why? I'm gonna say, especially in the beginning. I don't agree that we need to separate, you said. I think that is the opposite. We need to unify. You need to actually unify Dharma with everything that you're doing in your life. You shouldn't have separation, because we do that already. I'm like this at work, I'm like this at home, I'm like this at this, I'm like this at that. And then we start to create confusion in the mind. But we are just one person, right? And the more Dharma we have, the more things start to become more real. and we can just be ourselves in whatever space and time we are. The most important is that, and I think that this is the point that we agreeing, is the wrong understanding of the Dharma, the wrong understanding of the teaching. When we are talking about compassion, we are talking about thinking about the suffering of others, we are not thinking, forget about yourself, in the way that is like, you should just suck it up. It's not that. Why the opposite? Why? Because we are not there yet. You know, we are not trying to be someone that we are not, but we are trying to be more who we are actually, authentically. So that is the most important part. Is not trying to use the outside circumstance and use the Dharma to actually become someone else. Just creating another invention and ideal of our minds, which is like, I should be the enlightened, I should be the spiritual, I should be the compassionate, I should be this. And it's not really practicing compassion, right? Because practicing compassion means right now my mind is not compassionate. I need to make an effort to be compassionate. I need to make an effort to be generous to give the avocado to the person. I need to make an effort. So that means that this effort is based on me not being like that. It's not effortlessly coming. So this idea that is like, oh no, it's okay. Oh no, it's okay, is thinking that we are effortlessly like, oh yeah, everything's okay. Oh yeah, everything's fine. It's not. And you're trying to say this to yourself. I'm not saying that you're doing, I'm saying that we do it. No, we all do. It's a wrong view. It's a wrong idea how to practice Dharma. Very wrong, actually, and very dangerous. And I totally agree. Because we start to then creating exactly that. And this is something that Lama and Lama Zopa is talking, especially in this chapter, a chapter in the second chapter, that he's saying, then we think that Dharma practice is a lifestyle, which is we come to a Dharma center, we sit and we hear, and everything is good. Ah, yes, amazing. Then we go out and we just tell everybody, oh, you motherfucking thing, blah, blah, blah. You know, you treat everybody badly, you do everything bad, you know, you abuse others, and then you think, no, but I'm a Dharma practitioner, I'm a very saint person. You know, completely wrong, completely deluded, complete. Then we are just creating more ideals outside of our mind, what it should be, how it should be, and we think that the outside is what it matters, right? We sit down and meditate, and we even do prayers. We can be here chanting, oh, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Nothing to it. No, not even one single mind of like actually thinking, oh, oh yeah, that's true. People, that person is a, maybe I was not very nice doing that, right? Compassion is not a, passive, a passive emotion. The opposite, one of the most active, because the definition of compassion is I don't want to see the other person suffering, and I do something about it, right? So that means if you're having something in your work or something in, you know, but you understand, by understanding how things work, cause and effect relationship, what you can actually influence. So that is different, because it's like, oh yeah, I can fight for that. I can, you know, this is wrong. I can fight for equality. I can fight for, you know, like women's rights, this and that, all of these incredible, beautiful things. But we need to understand what we can actually do. We can't change everything. It's not that we just because we think like that, everybody's going to think the same way, right? It's not about converting or kind of confirming that what I think is correct and the other person is wrong. Quite the opposite. If you're thinking like this and the other person is don't thinking, then you should be more kind, more compassionate, more aware of the other person, and not create this polarity, right? These kind of like what I think is the right thing, and everybody that don't think is not a good person. I'm the good person. And especially this year with elections, that's what we do, right? Elections, that's what we do. We create our own opinions. We believe in them. We concrete, they make them concrete, and they say, this is the right thing. This is the good way. And everybody that is against this is wrong. And it's a bad person. Then we divide the country. We divide families. We divide friendships because of politics, because of opinions. And we don't have any control. of this. Why? Because we just vote. It's one vote. If you want something, then you go, you study, you work on your mind, you become a good human being, you become a smart human being, and you go and become the president. Very easy to talk about. Like, these people don't do what I'm not. Oh, yes. Then go over there with all the pressure, all of the confusion, all of the politics, all of the, right? That is very important. Totally agree with you. Totally. Very good point. Because then it doesn't become Dharma, right? Dharma practice is not about changing the outside. Dharma changes to change inside, the mind inside, and not clinging to the result. Because if we understand cause and effect, if we really understand cause and effect, it's very easy. If we plant a seed of orange, what are we going to get? If we plant a seed of positive intention, what are we going to have? Positive oranges. Yes, because oranges are very positive for your body. We're going to have positive results. The problem is that we get attached to the result. We want an orange that is this size, this color, this, that, that, and that. You know? And it's the same thing with the result. We plant this seed, and then we want a result that is like this size, this, and it has to be like that, that. No, if you have understanding of cause and effect, you plant the seeds, you allow things to unfold. You put your work and your energy to have the results. But if the result doesn't come in blue, in yellow, in green, it doesn't matter. But the result is going to be positive. You don't cling to the result like that. Right? That is, I think, that's very good. Very good. Yes, Anthony.
There's a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Richard says, I'm still having trouble transferring negative feelings into positive feelings.
Yes.
Is there some way to help keep those positive feelings present during everyday situations?
Yes. You achieve enlightenment and then it stays all the time. No, but I see, it is true. It takes a lot of time. And this is good. It's good that we understand that it's actually like this because we can see the difficulty. And we can see that it's not as straightforward as we think that we have the control. That is like, oh yeah, I should just have positive and thinking like that. No, there's many ways to kind of like try to check this, and one of the ways to do it is that we need to cultivate those positive mindsets, right? And for that, in the Buddhist tradition, what we say that we need to develop the 3 types of wisdom. And the 3 types of wisdom is the wisdom of learning, of studying, because our minds work like that. We need to learn something. And then we need to contemplate. Contemplate means we need to doubt those teachings. We need to investigate, doubt in that mind of curiosity, that mind of investigation, and say, is it true what this hairy Brazilian monk is telling me over there? Does it make sense? Or how can I apply? How can I check? Let me check here if I use like this. If I do like that, how does it work? You investigate. And especially whatever I say, you investigate. Because, I don't know anything. So you investigate and you try and you go from this direction, from that direction. But if I would think like this, and if I do that, that's why it's good to have people around, friends that you can communicate, because someone is going to bring a different point of view that you didn't have before. And then you try, and then you check, and then you go, and then you meditate on that. You meditate on of the understanding that you had. Then you sit and you familiarize with that. And that is why it's like we kind of like can start transforming the negative emotions into positive ones. Because you need to understand why it's positive to think about death. How can it be positive to think about death? Well, if you understand what death means, what is the base, how it's based in reality, then you contemplate, then you meditate, then you see how applying this changes your life. So you need to understand what compassion means, how thinking about equanimity, how thinking about love, kindness towards others, how this helps you. Then you can develop, and then you go develop, and then you develop these qualities. So this is very important, these 3 types of understanding. But also, you need to understand how the negative minds are not good for you. So it's these two aspects. One aspect is understanding how the good qualities are based in reality and how they actually help you, and understanding how the bad negative thoughts are bad. What it is the how do you say that disadvantages of following these mindsets, right? I'm loving that I'm talking like if the person is here. So that's what we need. It's like when you start to understand, Richard, that the following those negative mindsets are not good for you, are negative, are creating actually more disturbance, are creating more suffering, are creating more problems for you and for others. Then it becomes easier. Then it becomes a little bit like more understandable and doable for you. So that's how it is. Did it help, Richard? Yes? No? Maybe? Very much. Very good. Okay, we need to stop because otherwise you guys never stop. I never stop. I can be like blah, 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 here for hours. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being here. Such a nice night. I really like to be seeing all of you here. I kind of um get to know you a little bit more. I hope you enjoyed your first day here with this crazy monk. You as well over there, that you enjoyed. But I really hope that whatever we created here together and individually, we always do what we call in the end a dedication. So that means that all of the positive energy that we created, all of those minds that we made us really think, oh, or something that touched us, something that made us like, maybe just think, oh yeah, don't need to believe and say, ah, yeah, it was no, just like, maybe these I will investigate a bit more. So we use that everything that we created in order to really put into practice these things, put into practice to become a better human, so we can help others, right? That is what we dedicate for. Because if we don't dedicate for that, then it just becomes a dedication about, oh, as long as I'm happy, that is the best. Everything we just said doesn't make sense, right? So that is what we dedicate for. We dedicate in this way that we can do, so make everybody kind of like, use these understanding, these uh, um yeah, this wisdom, let's say like this, that we just accumulated, and these, oh yes, these doubts, these methods that we might have learned to help others and to apply in our daily lives. So every next time someone comes and does something to you, you just check how you can transform that situation. Okay.
And we have a couple of community members that are in the hospital.
Yes,
We've got
and
Anne and
yes.
Harold.
In Herod as well. Yes. So we also dedicate for that. So so as we were saying, everything that happens in our lives, it's dependent on the kindness of others. All of the goodness, all of the happiness, all of the, amazing situations we get, the comfort, the food, everything is because of the kindness of others. So to repay that kindness, to repay that these people might continue being also happy, that we might also be a cause of happiness for them, we also dedicate that everything that we do might help them to be free from suffering, free from any illness, from any diseases, so they can recover and then they can continue helping others, especially Anne and especially Harold, both of them that's so kind and so generous to the center in so many ways. May they continue, have a healthy and long and stable life, so they can kind of continue their path to benefiting others. We also dedicate like that. And as we say, we would not be here if it was not for the kindness of those special people that have walked this path, that have done, contemplated, meditated so much, like our teachers, like Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and especially for Lama Zopa Rinpoche to have a reincarnation so he can come back and continue helping us. And for the long and healthy life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who's now coming to America soon to have a knee surgery, so that the surgery might be okay without any obstacles, and then the Dalai Lama can continue to be this beacon of light and hope and harmony for us and for all sentient beings. Okay, We dedicate like that.
No, we're just wondering who the doctor is.
I don't know. I don't know yet. So we do the prayers. Which dedications we have over there? We have a Shantideva. Yes. I need a book. No, not late. I think I have it here. I have it in 246. Yes. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, we can start with these general dedications, and then we do the one from Shantideva. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May this May the supreme dew bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase more and more. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, I too dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with a dedication praises the best by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so I may perform good works. I dedicate whatever virtues I have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of perfect pure Losang to shine forever. Now 246. 246. Nana, yes? Yes. That's a beautiful. Is it from Shantideva, the one that I told you about? And the quote. May all beings everywhere plagued by sufferings of body and mind obtain an impression of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be free. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain, to dispel the miseries of the world. And then 244. His Holiness, long life. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. And then where is Lama Zopa Rinpoche?
235.
234. 234. This prayer for Rinpoche is coming back. Ah, no, I think you have in another place over there, Nana.
Nana has it.
Nana has it. She's gonna, okay. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you are the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly be in glory for fortunate disciples. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good week ahead. Thank you, online people. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.